Hey, everyone. It is the Let's Get Loud podcast with Jay and A.
Hi, buddy.
I'm excited for our show. I was thinking about that because I always get like the report. We sold like 2 tickets last week. It's like,
No
ooh.
way.
Okay, right now, you guys, if you go see on the Capitol Theater website, you'll see that we've only like opened up the lower bowl. There's like, I think that like everything other than VIP is sold out. So like there's like,
Okay.
yeah. And then there's a VIP left, but we are going to open up that first section of the
Balcony.
yeah, at one point. I don't know when.
Yeah.
It's only March.
We have time. We definitely need to start thinking about our outfits, though.
So many Sheen outfits. Black
Are
and
we
white.
doing black and white?
Black and white. Definitely doing like a wig that has half. That's fun.
Someone has to have a Corella DeVille
Outfit.
jacket.
Someone has to.
Absolutely.
Absolutely has to. So that should be a good
Okay.
time. Yeah.
So
We could do
fun.
polka dot. We could do karate. We could do
Mm.
half half. We could do
I don't want to tell you guys what to do, but I really think in
but
order to really lean into the theme, your outfit needs to have both black and white on it.
oh, yes, please. Okay,
You know what
yes.
I mean? Because if it's just black or just white, you're like, meh,
Black and white. Black and white
together.
together.
Yes.
And then
I
you be you with that theme.
I already know that I'm gonna have super red lipstick
Oh, I like that.
and I might do red boots.
Oh, I see. Oh,
A red.
wow. I feel like I'm back into like, do you remember my bedroom on Willett Street where it was black, white, and red?
Yes. Yep.
Do you remember?
Yep.
I feel like we're back in like 2004 here.
I mean, there was bouffants then. There was
Uh,
shiny leggings.
I still have those.
I feel like there was like tops that went like this, but then went out.
Yeah. Actually, I saw one of my favorite influencers. I think she was born in
Oh,
'86. She posted something with like a top like that just the other day. I didn't listen. I didn't watch it, but I like saw it in my thing.
is she the one that goes that she like talks like this?
Oh no, she's the
Do you know what I'm
she's
talking
the
about?
yes, that's the girl that's very funny.
Yes.
They're all very funny, but this girl is more about old school. Like she dances and sings and does. There must be so much work put into her reels. Oh, bah. And it's like I'm like, how do you make money? Because I'm like, you're not selling anything.
I mean, I'm assuming that she does some brand sponsorship
Yeah, but
stuff.
yuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like another free microwave. Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean,
She gets paid money.
yes.
It's like I can't. Like, no.
Oh my God. I know.
No, no, but she's very entertaining and I really enjoy her.
Yeah.
I won't be able to find her, but she's like from our era. She's the one that does those reels where she goes shopping and is like what I found at Walmart and it's like there's the Adidas shorts and then the like she like basically and then she posts her face. It's like that. I just like love her. Love her
I
face.
don't know
Oh,
who she is.
remember how this is my girl that I follow that has the most incredible body.
See, here's what we need to talk about, okay? When we're looking at Becky. Are you also willing to do what Becky's doing? Don't
No,
get distracted by her body. Are you willing to
am
do
I gonna
that?
do that? Absolutely not.
Her body is incredible.
Yeah, she really and it's actually incredible.
Okay.
Um
Good
and
for her.
yeah, good for her. No, no, no. And she did not look like that. Like she definitely built it to that.
Okay.
She was
She
not
wasn't born with that?
she was really thin.
Oh, okay.
She like built it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
She has to build it. We have to
There's several steps for us.
several steps down.
There's
We
there's
need to go
there's
up.
many surgeries.
When people yeah, many when people say things like I just want to tone. I'm like, don't we all just want to tone? And it's like thrown out there as if toning is way harder than losing weight.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like toning.
Yeah.
Well, talk about not seeing anything. You can't even handle being trying to lose weight for 2 weeks if you don't lose 2 pounds.
Yeah.
In toning,
Yeah.
decades before you see a
Yeah.
little bit of toning.
Yeah.
Decades of work.
I don't think people realize how difficult it is to
Build
gain
muscle.
muscle.
Yes, gain muscle. Like, when they're like, I went for a walk at the mall with my flip-flops. Must have gained muscle. You did not.
No.
You did not gain any muscle.
Nope.
Just very poor support with your
It's
flip-flops.
it's like so tricky because when you're having that conversation again, it goes back to our last week's podcast when we're
It's the
talking
mix of
about
fitness and
because they're looking at people who like they're watching people on the internet who are building muscle. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
So like, oh, that's a thing. It absolutely is. But like ask yourself like, am I eating in a slight surplus? Am I consuming 160 grams of protein a day? Am I doing progressive overload at the gym 4 times a week? Like if the answer is no, you're not building muscle.
yeah,
No to all three. Like it has to be yes to all three.
yeah,
And even then, women on average doing all of that could build like a pound of muscle a month
year.
max. And that's at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'm just gonna
anyway.
pick up things and lift them up, and then that's, you know what I mean? That's all. It's more than not.
And let's also remember, you guys, that like we all have muscle. Most of us, we just can't see our muscle because of our layer of fat on our body.
True story.
Like, you know what I mean? Not to like talk shit about your beautiful upper body,
No.
but like people are always like, oh my God, what? We're not going to talk shit. We're going to talk
Yeah.
great things about it. But people
Yeah.
are like, oh my God, what is your arm workout? And Jose's like, I do this. And yes, Jose has toned arms. A big piece of that is the percent of body fat on Jose's
Like,
upper body,
yeah, exactly.
not the exercise that you do.
No, exactly. And like think about like how all of the exercise I do is so lower body focused.
So true.
Like so lower body focused for years. Literally years. Like 15 years of spinning every day. Like you would think I would have the tiniest legs that existed. You know what I mean? But that's not where my body wants to lose weight. And like obviously it doesn't matter like what I eat, what I do, like all of it. Like that's what keeps the body fat. And also I don't do one sit up. I don't do one thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like when Karin's like, okay, we're gonna get on the mat and do core. I'm like, ugh. And
Oh,
everyone's like, oh my God, you're like, you don't like core? Like, and I'm like, I do zero core. Like, I hate core.
absolutely not. I refuse.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
never going to see it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, Leash, I support that thought. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just I would rather work on other things.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So this week I wanted to talk about people's confidence in their ability to lose weight, like to get weight loss, to get what they want. The reason why is because that was week 8 of my ultimate mindset coaching, is
Hmm.
having the confidence. Like if you don't think it's possible for you to lose weight, you know how many people literally do not act, like don't do any weight loss behaviors, like do not even do it. So it's not about like I try and I'm not getting it. Like they're like I'm doing nothing. And I think what's hiding, not just I think, I've had conversations with people being like, I actually like don't think I can lose weight. And I'm like, well, if you don't think that weight loss is accessible to you, available to you in your capabilities, um, you're not trying. Like, you know what I mean?
There's a real like psychological thing, and it's called confirmation bias.
Mm,
And so if you have a belief,
mm,
okay, I can't lose weight, all you do, your brain, is looking for evidence to
mm.
support that thought.
Belief. Yeah.
And so you will just perpetually convince yourself that see, not possible for me. See, whatever. And that is a tool that your brain uses to keep you comfortable.
Then because your brain wants to be right. Like you like being right. Like that's also like, yeah, as in like, see, like it's just, so I was reflecting on that and I'm like, I really feel like, I'm like, okay, what's missing? Like what's happening? Like what happened? Why is that a core belief in so many women's belief system? And there's a few things that came up that I thought of. Well, first of all, that had never been like that was so not a belief of mine that even if people tried to tell me at a young age, I was like, F you, don't put me in the box. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm not gonna eat your barley soup. I'm not gonna listen to what you're gonna say to me. I can do this. Okay. So I feel like there's like that piece of like I don't know. I just didn't really fully. There are certain things that I didn't listen to and other things that I did. Like it took me years to heal eating at night. Like that one was like right. I was right scared of that. Like it just wasn't a part of my weight loss recipe while I lost weight. So I was like I can't eat, after 7 p.m. And that for some reason was one that kept that a belief that I really had in my core. But the belief of weight loss, like that's it, like you're just gonna put me in a box at 14, that like it's gonna be hard for me for the rest of my life. Like I'm just like, oh, I don't like that. Um, but for some, I didn't have that conversation at home though. For some, it's like literally their parents, like their moms told them, like, it's too hard, or they saw their mom struggling. Like I didn't have that history of a mom that like she was like, you want that, let's go get it, almost, like, you know what I mean? So I might have had that. I feel like the way we were raised, you guys, and what you were told has a massive impact on your belief right now, belief system around weight loss. So just
Totally.
FYI. And I said that in my I talked last week about my presentation at U Windsor. I was like, all of you are all different, like we're raised differently, and what your relationship with food and your bodies are all different.
Big
So just
time.
because you're the same age and you're all studying the same thing, maybe you have the same interest,
Yeah.
like you are different humans, and the
Yes.
way your brain works regarding weight loss or weight gain or food is all different. You guys
Yeah.
have all different body types, and you were just raised differently.
Yep.
And so for some of you, you might not even think twice before eating chocolate cake. And another person, it's like this big conversation and shame and whatever. And so I think the way you were raised and what you were told plays a massive role on how you react and think? So they're like,
Um, I actually had a moment yesterday where the girls told me about going back to your mom's that a girl in their class, stepmom, put her on a diet
"Hmm,
and she just had vegetables in her lunch. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, here we are.
yeah,
Here we are.
yeah,
And Phoebe goes, that's not even how you lose weight.
yeah, baby.
I was like,
Should tell
yes,
her.
girl.
Should tell her.
Yes, girl. But
Should you eat
imagine, like,
vegetables to lose weight?
and that, like, that little girl, that's going to carry with her.
Yeah, she's gonna, yeah.
That vegetables, that those
Yeah.
vegetables that she needs to eat to create weight loss, that's going to go with her.
So I've had 3 people send me messages like in the last like 2 weeks,
Okay.
wanting me to go and do a talk in schools of young people. And I'm like, no. Like, and I'm like, as much as, and they're like, they need to hear from someone like you and not their parents. I'm like, no, their parents need to hear it from someone like me,
Yes, you're right.
not them.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
said, and I said, I can say anything to these young kids. They go back home and
Yeah.
their mom, and also like it's like it's not my place. It's
Hmm.
actually not my place. It is their parents, and like guys, it's us. Like we need to have the conversations within our own household. And I'm like, I could say something at these conferences or whatever when it talks, and like the daughter goes and tells that to her mom. She's like, I don't agree. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so it's the parents that want that talk
Yeah.
need that talk. Not everyone wants it. Not
Nope.
everyone thinks they need it.
Or is
So I was
open
like,
to
I
it.
just like, I'm like, no, like it's not my space. I need people that are 18 and up. I need people that are, ready to make their own choices and are out of because they are still someone's responsibility.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's not my space. Like and they're like, oh, it's too bad because they're like, there's so many that could benefit. Absolutely. I agree. I actually agree. But it would have to be signed. Parents would be okay with me talking about this. And it would have to be like, almost like they would want that. Like,
And here's the thing too about that conversation. I just find it so sensitive. And I think you and I are obviously extra sensitive to it because of our experiences
yeah,
of growing up and
yeah,
having relationships with food that we did.
yeah.
But like there could be two girls, 15 years old, that actually need two different conversations.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, so it's like it's hard to just like
Yeah.
have one big
It would
conversation.
almost be, yeah, I agree. And it almost would be more because they don't have the ability to be like, I'm going to take what she said and apply it
Exactly.
to my life. Like, what the fuck? They'll just do whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, and that's why it's hard for social media as well, because kids they can't take in info and be like, this is not applicable. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, um, so there was one girl that reached out. She's like, I'd love to have a one-on-one. Is that something with my daughter? And it's like, no, like that's not something I do. Like,
No.
you need to have the one-on-one with your daughter.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm not at a space right now where I can have this one-on-one. Like, I don't even know if I would be able to tell her. Then I'm like, then work on you.
Yeah,
Work
big
on you.
time. And here's the
And
thing
as
too,
you're
is like,
healing and as you're learning, you're gonna be better.
and like one conversation is not going to change anyone's life.
No, it's time.
It's time. So you would have to stay connected to it. You would
Yeah.
like constant, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why do you think that we lack this confidence? Watching our moms fail, right? Like what literally
Yeah.
watching our moms fail at weight loss, us failing at weight loss.
Yeah.
The
I would
depth.
also say like cruelty is a big word, rudeness of some households, communities, friendship groups. Like there's a lot there. Like there's some people that are being told very rude things like about like their ability, like comments can really play a role in your confidence in like being able to accomplish. So as much as maybe we've seen our moms, like I didn't see my mom fail at anything, but it's like the root, like the you're fat comments when you're young, or like they just like play a massive role in like you're like I've always been overweight, like, and then we there's jokes around that sometimes, you know.
And
um
for some people, it becomes a part of their identity. They're like, oh, I'm the funny fat friend.
then
And
we nah, that's a thing for sure.
were you teased for your weight? Like, do you remember being
Yes.
made fun
I
of?
didn't stay overweight long though, to be honest. I didn't stay very overweight long. Because I obviously like not obviously, I don't want to say it that way. You know how I am. I attack right away. I've always been that way. I was like my
Same.
biggest when I was 13, I was like, no. So I told my mom, like I wasn't just like staying in this like negative energy. I was teased like at school by boys. Know what I mean? And then it was like more like I need to lose weight because boys are teasing me. I'm like, no, like as in like, okay, this is not how I want to live my life. I'm gonna get hot.
You were 13?
Yeah, I was 13 when I did Weight Watchers for the first time.
Isn't like Alfie's turning
Grade
13 this
eight.
year.
Grade eight. Grade eight is when I told my mom. Yeah. And I was just like, couldn't shop where I wanted to shop. Like, I was just like
Yeah.
more aware of like what was happening. And I was like, I don't want this. And so that's why I like have a different relationship, like because of like, and that's why I say it's not age, it's the person, it's the kid. It's like what you feel like they can handle. And that's would be for multiple things that I've always said that. Because I think that a lot of people like when their kid is 12 or 13, and your kid tells you they're not comfortable in their skin, you're trying to make them feel better, which of course, but also listen because they're 13, they're not 5, like they're 13, like they're making out with boys and they're like they're not your little girl anymore that you have to protect, like they're now someone that you can protect them, but conversations is really important and how they feel is really important at every stage. But I do feel like there's something to be said about that when they're turning into more of the teenage years, you want I'm just really happy my mom listened. To be honest, she like let me, but also like know your kid. So maybe your kid's being dramatic because they're always dramatic, and like you just want to wait out how they'll feel tomorrow. But for me, it's like my mom knew, but also it was like a different time, right? Like where everyone joined Weight Watchers, and it was so popular, and it was right here in Shediac, and so I didn't know, but my dad had done Weight Watchers to lose about 40 pounds. I had never known that, but he had done Weight Watchers before I had done Weight Watchers. And he had lost 40 pounds. Like, I don't remember that, but he was like,
Okay.
that's how they knew that to kind of,
Ah,
know what I mean?
okay.
But yeah, like, I had never heard about points or anything in regard to my dad doing that before I did it.
Fucking points.
Hmm.
Oh,
But like, honestly, the way that we would love for the young kids that are maybe wanting to lose weight, honestly, society doesn't know how to help them the way we help them, to be
I
honest.
know.
Like, so it's like, so the people that know about us and know what we do, they're like, fuck, like that's what young girls need to hear. This is whatever. And I'm like, I agree. However, it doesn't stop the reality of the issue. Like, as in, like, it's, it really is. I agree. And sadly, the most moms don't have the what we have, honestly, like the okay, well, how can I properly help my kid actually achieve weight loss and not, and we can all do our best, guys, like there's no perfect journey. Even with the personality I had, didn't stay long on a diet, didn't like whatever, I still had so much to heal. So it just shows how like deep it can be. But I I feel like most households don't have the conversation that we have regarding weight loss, food, health. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They don't
agreed.
know how because most moms aren't healed or aren't doing their own
Right.
work. So,
And then it's almost like that conversation comes up, and then that's triggering for the mom. So
yeah.
she almost just like shuts it down, and like, oh, yeah,
Yeah, and the mom just doesn't want their daughters to think that. So they'll be like, "Oh my God, no, no,
yeah,
don't get it, don't fall into the trap." And I'm like,
yeah,
they're already in the trap. Like the trap
100%.
exists. Like diet culture is still very strong on social media, you guys. Like it's there. Your daughters are seeing it. They're a part of it. So it's like how to talk.
And especially if your daughters are sharing with you that they don't feel comfortable in their skin. Like that's significant. That's not like I think I'm fat or I'm bigger than my friends
Or someone made a comment, but I don't feel that way. You know
or
what I
like the number on the scale or the size of their pants or whatever. That's a different conversation than like I don't feel that's a feeling. Like do not tell your child that they shouldn't feel a certain way.
Yeah.
I guess, people do ask us for advice when speaking to our daughters. And I think the number one thing I would say first is listen.
Yeah.
Like listen, don't
And
try
don't,
and
yeah. And also like don't try to push it away. Don't try to make them feel better. Listen. And also like don't make it more than that moment and that thing they're sharing about. Because
yeah.
it's not about what they weigh. It's not about like it
Yes.
could be just a comment that was made at school.
Yeah.
And they're feeling confident, but a shitty kid made a comment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like, do you feel that way, or is it just like it hurt that someone said that?
Yeah.
And then it's not even about their bodies; it's about the comment and shitty kids and how to
Yeah.
deal with shitty kids. So
Yeah.
it's you know what I mean? Like it's not even about their bodies; it was just the comment. So it's
I
like
think
understanding the problem.
trying to make it not about how their bodies look. I
Yeah.
think that's important in the conversation as well. Neil didn't do this on purpose at all, but he was commenting on Alfie's body.
Okay.
And in like not in a negative way, just not in a positive way either, but just like, his body's changing. He's like turning 13. He's like
Yeah.
stretching, he's getting muscles, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just said, we're not going to talk about bodies. Like I said the kids are at such a sensitive age right now
Yeah.
that their bodies are changing and there's so much going on. Let's just not initiate that conversation,
Yeah.
And he was like, you're
Yeah.
right.
No, for sure. And I feel like I also hear it and it's never in negative intentions. Like you said,
No.
like my mom still like would make comments like how Dia's so like this one.
Tiny.
You know what I mean? Tiny. So she'll be like, "Oof, sale potro gross." And I'm like, "Oh, I know that's nice." But like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just like not even. It's not
Because then there's like almost,
because if she does gain weight, then we're no longer saying that. She'll notice it. So let's just not comment on the size of her body.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Last night I was trying to weigh things for like in the valise, my
Suitcase.
suitcase, because we're bringing so much. Anyways, and so but we're trying to put it in like two, so I'm like we're maximizing the weight limit. So I was like making the kids like weigh things, and so Noah gets on the scale just for fun. He's like, "Oh, I'll get on," and then Dia got on. And obviously, I think the last time she got on, she was like probably 10 pounds more. But like the last time she got on, she was like over a year ago. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so she was like, "Oh, I'm 86 pounds." And then she's like, "Yeah, it's all of this. You see this, mom?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's really proud of like how like she I think she likes the way she looks. Like she definitely is like
She likes
proud.
to take care of herself. Yeah.
Yeah, and she likes the way she looks. Like she'll
Okay.
be like, I think I'm pretty. I think whatever. I'm cool. That's great. I'm glad that you feel that way. Know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so I was like, but you could tell she was like 86. Like that was like definitely the high, like, and I'm like, yes, you're growing. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like gonna keep growing.
Yeah.
It's like I'm an adult and I don't weigh 86 pounds. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna have to like, and she's like, yeah, yeah. She's like very rational, but still it's like, I was like, I've been avoiding them getting on the scale, but the scale was just there and like whatever.
Yeah.
And I also don't want to be like, don't get on.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like, oh, get on, like whatever. It's a number.
That's the thing as
It's
well
like
is
stretchy. Yeah.
I've had people like, let's say I'm measuring my portion of my meat, okay? And there's a food scale out. And I've had people say, what do the kids say? I'm like, they don't notice. Like,
Yeah, I'm not like, hey, look at me weighing my meat.
like
Important
I'm like,
your meat, guys.
you know what I mean? So it's like it's not only is it about what you're doing, but it's the conversation around it and the deal you're making around it that is like they're gonna notice. Like if it's like not a big deal, it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's not like mommy needs to weigh her meat because she want to make sure she doesn't eat too much because she's trying to lose weight. Like that's not the conversation we're having. She's like, I want to
Lit
make sure I have enough protein. Like
they wouldn't even I
they
like
wouldn't even
it
ask.
they
Yeah.
wouldn't even ask.
They
They're
wouldn't even
not
notice.
they
Yeah.
wouldn't even notice. Like I literally get all their meals and if I'm choosing to do that at that moment, I do
Yeah.
it 2 seconds, we move on with our life. Like it's
Okay, so we've like kind of pivoted here
I
with
know.
just like happened, but ultimately not really because I think our lack of confidence in our ability to lose weight comes from way back, to be
Yeah.
honest. And even worse as we get older and older. So like after 40, after children, after whatever, it's like time our resources get smaller and smaller and smaller. And it gets more specific, more specific, more specific, and harder, harder, harder. In what way? Because you have less time and energy and your bodies are changing. And if you don't have self-confidence in your body, like you're just like kind of pushing away the negativity or the like icky feeling of like, "Ugh, fuck, weight loss. You know what I mean? Like it's just not accessible, never mind. And I think that's a big thing as well. But there's that like I've had two conversations and I've said like not anything emotional or anything like harsh at all. It was like more like, girl, like let's not say that. Let's not think that, whatever. And it was like, my eyes got watery. And I'm like, clearly, that means that is your literally your spiritual side is like something there really got to me. And I had just said, like, you deserve it. Water, you know what I mean? I'm like, if you feel emotional when I say that's not a good joke to be, someone said to me that the joke was like the only healthy weight was when at birth. I'm like, yak, I don't like that joke. Let's stop. Let's change that. Let's not say that anymore. Because then your whole identity is that you've been overweight your whole life. So like no wonder you don't really believe that you'll be a healthy weight one day when this is a recurring joke. Like that's it's not a joke. Like this is you. You can do whatever you want to do. So I'm like, yeah, let's not do that. Like, let's like change this, change the narrative. Let's change the story. You got this. And she's like, I got emotional. And I was like, well, clearly then it bothers you. You know what I mean? So if you're feeling, if you got not, then it's not a joke, like, so I think we need to listen to our emotions and be like, oh man. Then I had this girl call me, which we never have. I was like, I didn't know the number. I'm like, I'm going to answer and see. I know. And
Phone
she's like,
call.
I can't believe you answered. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And I was just like, do you guys still meet up? And she said, I've heard that you guys meet up on Saturdays. I remember way back. She has never been a Euro Weight Loss member. And I'm like, no, we don't meet up on Saturdays. We meet up on Thursdays. And I was like, the conversation has definitely changed. I'm like, listen, if you're still like attracted to posts about gummies, you're not ready. That's what I said to her. She laughed and she's like, oh my God, like just like you talking to me, your passion. I'm like, listen, if you are want to heal and you don't want to like you really want to take control, you feel like there's a lack of a good relationship with yourself, you want that confidence in your ability to lose weight, like whatever, blah, 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 blah. I was saying this and she's like, I'm getting all emotional. I'm like, well, clearly then this is something that you're like, oh, like this is touching my soul. Like I want this change and not like annoyed. If you're like rolling your eyes at me saying that you need
Yep.
to heal your relationship with yourself,
Yep.
you're not ready.
Agreed.
So I was like, she's like, I like how you're like straightforward. You know what you're talking about. I'm like, yes, I know like what our service does. Like
Exactly.
I'm not gonna like try to like get you to join.
Yep. Nope.
Like you don't want this, don't come to the conversation. Like
Yep.
this is a conversation where
Yep.
we're actually working on like actually working on ourselves.
Yep.
You don't want to work on yourself, don't come.
Yep.
If you just want to be thinner and you're willing to comment me on a gummies post, we're not for you. I'm not
Nope.
even kidding anymore. I'm like,
No.
I'm
No.
sorry.
Nope.
If you want cream on your belly,
Yep.
don't. You're not doing what you were not providing the same service.
Nope.
So she was like, oh my God, I love it. I'm like, listen, I'm going to hang up and I'm going to wait for the email that says congratulations and whatever
Hmm.
came in right away. And I'm like, I'll see you on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you enjoyed, and I'm like, if you enjoyed this conversation and we talked 4 minutes, I'm like, if this made you feel something, which it clearly did, you should be joining.
I know.
Like
And
that.
like it's join for a month.
That's
Like
what I
you
said
hear
to her. I'm like, go monthly. I don't even
yes.
like try to sell longer. I'm like,
No.
go monthly. Like,
Yeah.
try it. Because
Yes.
I don't want promises.
Yeah.
Our service is not for everyone. And we know that
Yeah.
because it is for everyone. We know that deep down. But not everyone is ready for our
Yeah.
service. And if you're not ready, come back when you're ready.
Yep.
Come back when you're tired of gummies and you're tired of doing stupid shit.
Yep.
Like honestly, I'm like, okay, come back when you're ready to work on yourself. That where you're actually important. Like you're
Yeah.
a person and not just getting thinner.
Yep.
Like you as a person, you want to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to like prioritize you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but it'll be a byproduct. Weight loss will be a byproduct to you figuring out what you want.
Big time.
That was good. Um, okay, so I wrote this in my notes for my coaching session. I said, you have access to weight loss. You need your confidence back, right? I said, you might not choose to, but it's not because you can't. So I think it's really important because I think that people are like, I've tried, whatever. I'm like, no, you're not choosing to right now, but it's not because you can't. And the reason I want you to say that to yourself, whoever's listening, if you're like, you know what, I'm not even choosing weight loss right now. It's not because I can't. It's just I'm not choosing it. Own it. I think confidence starts with that. Just like I'm owning that I'm not. I'm owning that I'm not doing the things. I'm not taking advice. I'm not using tools. I'm not changing my mindset. I'm not even changing my perspective about weight loss. So clearly you're choosing not to, but it's not because I can't. That's really important. Like, yeah, I can. Always keep that. You can. Okay. And I also want you to think about like why you felt confident in maybe raising a child or getting a degree or going to college or whatever, getting that job you always wanted. Like you had never done that before, but you were confident, like you wanted that, you fought for it. You know what I mean? Like you're like, I'll figure it out. How many times, like, you don't even know if you're gonna be like, you're gonna like being a mom. Like you could think, and you're like, I'm gonna figure it out. Right. And literally, the hospital is like, goodbye, figure it out. Literally, figure it out. And if you don't know, call sometimes. Know what I mean? 811. So it's like, it's just, it is basically what happens. But with this, you don't even trust yourself enough to like try sometimes. Like you're not even like trying or trusting yourself. And I think it's deep. I think it's deep. I think it's little girl deep. I think it's, I just, there's that, like, there's something there where it's this one thing in your life you feel like you can't accomplish.
And like as you're giving other examples, I'm thinking about like, I don't know about you, but like, did you have a moment in university where you were like, shit?
Ben oui.
Like, but you pushed through. Like, that's why you got your degree, is because you pushed through the moments where you thought, shit.
Okay, it just made me realize during my coaching session, I shared very vulnerably that a year 4 and 5 now, and I did not want to switch my major. Well, having a math major,
Yeah.
listen, I'm good in math, but j'ai mes limites. No, I'm not this fucking genius Mathieu
Yeah.
Gauguin. No. So it was like I'm very much just like a random, like I'm good in math, but j'ai mes limites. And so for me, it was like, okay, listen, I don't want to switch, and so it doesn't matter if I have a D or an A. I have a diploma. My dad even was like D for diploma. That's all you
Well,
need.
that's a real thing.
Yeah. So he's like D pour diplôme. Basically, I got a tutor, I got whatever, and and my first statistic, I got did 23. 23 was I was so bad.
23%.
Yeah, that was my mark. And so I go see my teacher, obviously, great personality. I arrive with my smile and I'm like, sir, well, listen, according to my math, I would need to do 120 to be able to pass for in the next exam. It's not going to happen. So we need to work a deal here. I need a D. I'm not
I
looking
love
for
you
more.
so much.
Listen, I'm not looking for more. Okay. And you know what he said? He was like so nice. He had a son who was my age studying with me. And he's like, if you can show progress on the final exam, you don't need to like the average doesn't need to become a 60 or a 55 to get your D. If I see massive progress and I feel like you have enough knowledge to get your D, I'm like, I'm not looking for an A. I'm looking for a D. I don't want to do this course again. Like, so anyways, I'm like, I'm getting a tutor. He knew the tutor. I was like, I'm doing the things, okay? Like I really whatever. Anyways, at the end, I think I did 62 on the final exam and I got my D. Like, because he's like, listen, you did 62 from 23 to 62. You clearly worked harder. You know enough to like, let's move on. When I went for my interview, did they see what I did? No, diploma is in my portfolio. A diploma. That's it. They don't know how many A's and D's I got or what my average was.
Also, when was the last time anyone looked at your diploma?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know where it is. So, all that to say, the whole like progress, not perfection. Okay. Guys,
Scrappy action.
yeah, like we are those people, like scrappy consistency. We've talked about scrappy consistency a couple weeks ago.
Literally having the conversation with your professor, but with yourself. All right, self, let's make
Yeah,
a deal. Let's figure this out.
let's
I
figure this
didn't
out.
think I was going to need to get a tutor. I didn't think, but like, I'm not giving up.
Here I
Like, I'm
am.
going to figure this out.
Like I have my back, like as in like I'm gonna figure this out. Like
Yep.
I what's the word there was a word that I put in my thing that I liked. But anyways, it was like literally just like I'm just gonna like figure it out. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for it. And so like for me, it was like I literally like fought well when I was 15, and you can't even do that as an adult. Sometimes I'm like, come on, you're an adult. Fight for the sandwich. Eat the friggin' sandwich. Fight for it. Don't eat the barley soup. I fought for a sandwich when I was 15. I want a sandwich. Why can't I have a sandwich? He's like,
Poor
it's not
sandwiches. They took such a bad rep.
bad rep. And I'm like, I saw my thin coworkers at 15, 16. I used to work at a restaurant, eat a sandwich. I want to eat a sandwich. I fought for the sandwich, you guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I was like, why can't I eat a sandwich? This doesn't make sense to me. Okay. And so like I feel like you're not fighting enough. Like you fought to like people fight to get pregnant and fight to like against the odds. Like I want that. But this one thing that you are 100% in control. You're not in control if you can't get pregnant. Like that, like there's actual things like that can happen. And some people are like, I mean, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try this, and you're taking hormones and you're like trying your best. And like even breastfeeding, you're hurting so much and you just fight. And
Yeah.
but this is 100% in your control.
Yeah.
Whether your breasts have milk or not, like there's a little bit of limits there. Okay. But this, guys, this is 100% you. 100% you.
And it's only you as well.
Literally,
Like
just
it's
you. No one else is in the way.
like when you're breastfeeding, there's another human.
Yeah. My test, I didn't know what he was going to ask. I was
No.
in charge of the test. It was like,
Yeah.
hopefully they fucking study the right things and I know
Yeah.
what he's going to ask. I didn't have 100% control. I could only control what I could control. But this weight loss, fat loss, 100% you. What is going in? Like, come on. You make choices. Like, I'm like, Buzzy. Okay.
It was really good. I agree. I think people they're just not fighting for it enough, and I don't want that to get misstrewn with it being so
Laziness or
hard.
no, no,
Like that's not what we're saying, but like
reflect.
it there's a process where you have to create awareness, you have to make changes, you have to adjust, you have to keep going. You have to keep going even when the scale doesn't go down 2 pounds in your first week.
And
Like
also,
that's what's
yes,
required.
but also, okay, what is required for you to keep going? A good relationship with yourself.
I
You are
know.
important. I am important. I want this. What I want is important. Like, it's like that's really at the core, Alicia, is what's missing. It's self-talk, it's self-love, it's self-respect, it's standards for your life. Like it's literally the relationship with yourself. You would fight maybe for your marriage, you would fight for your kids, you would fight. How come you're not fighting for what you want? This is literally at the core of it all is your relationship with yourself. And you're letting your little you or what your parents told you or what the guy at the gym told you to ruin your relationship with yourself. This is a stranger or it's not important. Your relationship with yourself is your job. It is your responsibility. It is only on you and is the best relationship and the most important one for the rest of your life. Namaste, everyone. We're going to finish with that.
Wait, we have to tell them what I'm
Oh, okay, we gotta
doing.
go. Oh my God, shit.
Okay, how
Power
many?
hour.